proud to be a part of that event. So,
thank you, Jane. And Judy, your presentation was fantastic, super exciting too. So, Florida City, we're thrilled to be back here again. Last time we were here about a year ago, giving you an update. It was right before we broke ground, May 1st of last year. So it's been amazing to see the progress on site, and we are really excited to be part of the Roosevelt Island community and to be able to be here today and share a bit of an update with you on where we are. So just as a reminder for everyone, the building is an approximately 230,000 square foot building. It's 6 stories, and we are targeting our substantial completion next spring. And one of the big things, since last time we got together is we did name the building. It is now the Bridge at Cornell Tech, and that name really came from the vision and the mission behind what we're trying to do there, which is really bridging industry and academia. And as is the mission of Cornell Tech, to really bring together industry and academia to spur innovation and the commercialization of new products and technologies. That's really what our goal and mission here is as we get ready to launch and open this building next year. So we thought that what we would do is spend a little bit of time talking about the type of companies that will be on campus and how we think about the composition of the building, and a bit about how we talk to private sector companies about the opportunity to be on campus, because it is very unique. This is not any other office building any place else in New York City. This is a conversation about, and it's almost kind of a mutual self-selection as we go out and start talking to various tech companies in New York, across the country, abroad, internationally. It is really this looking for this fit. It is really thinking about the companies, and given the type of work that they do, and given the areas of expertise at Cornell Tech, where might there be tremendous opportunities for collaboration and mutual benefit? Really, again, with the goal of trying to spur innovation and the commercialization of new products and technologies. So as we think about the composition of the building, Cornell is approximately a third of the building. They are in the lower levels. They're on, as you'll see in a moment, and as we talked about last time we're here, there is ground floor retail, but in addition to the ground floor retail, they'll be open to the public and anyone who comes to Roosevelt Island. The balance of the ground floor will be Cornell Tech space. The second floor within the building will be Cornell Tech space. And there's also a portion of the lower floor of the building, which is above grade on the east side of the island. That is also Cornell space. And then as you get to the third floor of the building is where we start introducing private sector companies. The fourth floor of the building will likely be a co-working company. We are talking to quite a few co-working companies currently, and our objective is really to, as we speak with the different co-working companies out there, is everyone familiar with what a co-working company is? Should I actually define that?
Yes.
Okay. So have many people heard of companies such as WeWork or NeueHouse or Tech Hub or any of these types of companies? So what they are is, let's say you've decided you want to launch your own company, or you have your own private business, and you would love to have the opportunity to have that space and not necessarily be working out of your home. Co-working companies are companies that lease space in office buildings throughout cities, and what they tend to do is offer memberships. So if you say it's you and you've started a company with a partner, you and your partner may would decide that you want to become members of a particular co-working company, and those are often on a month or a short-term basis. It could be month to month, it could be 6 months, it could be at different durations of time, because as you launch a company, you may not know whether it's successful or not. And so you don't want to have to sign a longer-term lease, but it allows earlier stage tech startup companies to be able to have a presence on campus, to have that diversity of stage of companies, as well as diversity of industry companies and diversity of size. So a floor of the building, we are anticipating to partner with, there are a number of co-working companies all over the world, and they all have different types of models. And with a number of the different co-working companies across the world. It's really looking at the model that they have and also their interest in being part of and seeing the unique opportunity that is Cornell Tech, because it is not just any other office building anywhere in the world. There's some way you just want to be able to have a membership in a short-term space, but it is being part of this overall Cornell Tech campus ecosystem. So a floor of the building will be a co-working company, and then the balance of the building will be a diversity of tech companies, again, at different stages. So it could be a large corporation who may decide they want to take a small piece of space for an R&D team, or to incubate companies that they've invested in, or, for example, a number of companies are talking with us about the idea of having different project teams rotate through every 6, 9, or 12 months, depending upon what the type of company or industry that they are and what's relevant for them. So our goal within the building composition as a whole is really to create a diversity of industry that really looks at leveraging the areas of expertise that Cornell Tech has developed in areas like security and privacy and health tech and all these different fields that they've really been developing tremendous expertise, because that creates incredible opportunities for collaboration, whether that is joint research and development where it's appropriate, whether that is access to the talent coming out of Cornell Tech. So really our goal is looking at how do we see the building with a diversity of companies in size, stage, and industry to create as dynamic of an environment within the building and on campus as possible. So that's really kind of how we think about this process. So where we are. So we spent a good amount of time with Cornell Tech for quite some time as we started to better understand their programs, get to know some of their faculty, because really that's part of the value proposition. Again, this is not about just leasing office space, because there's a myriad of places that one could lease office space, but is this the right fit? And it has to be a right fit both for the company choosing to be on campus and for us for selecting them to be part of this campus. So it's a question of, as we've started to get to know Cornell's programs and their faculty better, we've now, earlier this year, started the process of reaching out to kind of key companies and really starting to begin these conversations about where there might be a great fit. And what is incredibly satisfying is that those conversations have been incredibly well received and they're going very well. And that is to say that it is likely that we will be announcing our first, the selection of the first companies coming to campus this fall. And so we are in the midst of conversations now, and we will be able to share that with you once we're at that place. But we're actively in those conversations, and they're really exciting because it is indeed companies who are seeing the value proposition of what Cornell Tech is, and about being part of this environment, part of this campus, and part of the community here on Roosevelt Island, and what we're collectively trying to create. And that is really exciting to see. So with that, I'll also kind of show you a little bit, a peek into the building and share a little bit of the look and feel. So this is a rendering of our lobby. As I mentioned, the ground floor of the building has both retail that we open to the public as well as Cornell space for classrooms and programmatic activity. This is the main entrance to the lobby. On the side here is ground floor retail. We are, in terms of sequence time frame, the strategy around the retail, we've been spending a lot of time thinking about that, but in terms of the timeline and progress of announcing those, we'll be first announcing the companies, about the selection of the companies on campus, and talking about retail afterwards, because we want to make sure that it's very complementary to the overall campus and those on campus. As we move forward, again, as I talked about the composition of the building, co-working tends to be a lot of flexible space. You can have your own space to work, but you can also go to a lounge type space, have conversations with different companies within the building. Then, space for growing startups that maybe they are 20 people 1 year, and quickly, what's the ability for them to expand quickly, and sometimes only to contract quickly too. So space for growing startups, these are kind of illustrative of the types of spaces that could be within the buildings. We are not building out these spaces specifically for companies. Companies will be able to really pick and feel what marries with their brand, their culture, their identity. And then again, larger tech companies who may need more space, and this is an accurate actually rendering as you guys all get to experience on a regular basis. But this is from the 6th floor of our building, really up the top floor where the building will be for those who need a bit more space. But again, our goal is to create that diversity of size, stage, and industry of companies within buildings. So that is really the overview of where we are, and we'd be happy to take any questions.
I understood you correctly, so you would wait until you had some tenants before determining the type of retail?
We thought a lot about the type of retail, but in terms of really going forward and executing and selecting specific types of retail for the building, the sequence is really focusing on the businesses who will be upstairs within the building first, and then making sure that we really are thoughtful in the whole composition of the building and how to do that best.
First, follow-up. How big is that space, and will it be available to one tenant, or will you be able to break it down?
Multiple tenants.
And how big is the total?
The total amount of retail in the building is approximately 6,000 square feet.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
And are there any types of retail uses, let me come from the back way, that you've decided are inappropriate there?
We haven't necessarily ruled out. I mean, if there's, I'm sure, yes, there would be uses that would be inappropriate, but we haven't essentially kind of stated some sort of clear criteria.
Like eating
food and beverage would be appropriate, absolutely.
Businesses that sold equipment or supplies, those are possible. It's too small for Trader Joe.
Car dealership is out of the question.
Is that the cafe that has always been talked? Well, so the cafe's in the academic building?
So apropos to food to vendors, are you going to make an effort to make sure that there's nothing in that building that will conflict with the few vendors, the few restaurants that we have on the island, drawing business away from them? They already have a bit of a problem. I mean, we have just so much foot traffic on the main part of Roosevelt Island. I know you talk about the community, but I know you're mostly focused on this community. We have a community here, and we're concerned about what is going to be, not that I think any of us are against competition, but I think we have such a small community that the foot traffic that might be drawn away could really be detrimental to what we have here as an actual living, breathing community that is not insulated as this is.
So I think that our shared objective is to make sure that uses complement each other, right? And so that when companies do think about coming and having a presence on campus on Roosevelt Island, is what is it that they are offering to their employees, right? And it is that diversity. They need, as you talk to, if you were to talk to CEOs of different tech companies, they want to, they retaining talent, attracting and retaining talent is incredibly important. And that part of that is, what is the ground floor plane look like, and is it an active experience, and what are the uses? And it's, you wouldn't want to have all of the same thing, and you want to create a diversity of uses and a diversity even on the food and beverage side. You want to make sure that you're doing things in a very complementary fashion. And even as we talked with Cornell Tech about it too, in terms of looking at the cafe, we have food and beverage within the bridge as well. How do we think about that holistically, and what does the island offer? How can, are there opportunities on campus that is there demand for something that doesn't exist on the island currently, right? So I think that from a general perspective, there's all kind of a mutual benefit in trying to look at how do we make sure that all these are complementary.
I'm assuming you're going to have public bathrooms in the ground floor space, correct?
The bathrooms on the ground floor space, check whether the bathrooms on the ground floor stays in terms of the Cornell use on that ground floor versus the ground floor retail. You know, I don't want to misspeak, and I have the floor plans in my head, and I just need to go back and refresh my memory. I just don't want to misspeak. So let me come back to you on that.
Okay, so then the general question is, will there be public bathrooms anywhere in this, you know, if somebody's coming from South Point Park and needing to go quick?
That's something that we have in the Bloomberg Center. There are public bathrooms that are accessible, that are on the way to the cafe, so they're not behind the security perimeter. You can go in and use bathrooms.
Christina?
Thank you. It's very exciting. Beautiful, beautiful drawings. I wanted to know how long you expect the industry, the top tier, so let's say those are your Googles and your Yahoos, and I'm just making it up, but big established companies, how long do you expect them to stay there? It seems like you're allowing the co-working a lot of flexibility in their design, but startups could be in and out. And I was just curious, the amount of folks you think will be there, utilizing the space, and then how many are long-term? How many do you see in there as far as corporations? 7, 25, 100, you know?
So the co-working use allows, essentially tremendously increases the number of companies in the building, because those could be 2-person companies or 1-person companies or 5 or 15-person companies, right? There, within co-working companies, you can have a membership that is based on different sizes and different number of people. So it's hard to answer the question associated with how many companies overall will be within the building. As it relates to, we talked about the industry, as you mentioned, the 5th and the 6th floor and the 3rd floor,
Yeah.
which are the non-co-working floors. Our goal is that for us, success would not be to have one company lease the entirety of it, right? If Google were to come and say, we'd love to take the whole thing, Google's fantastic in many ways, right? But that, in terms of what we're trying to achieve here and creating something that's very dynamic and allowing people to come to an environment where there's that diversity of company and stage, our goal is really to create that diversity. So as it relates to the number of companies, that's a little bit difficult to answer because of the co-working, but as it relates to duration, there's a variety there. So there are, we could have, obviously the co-working, they'll sign a longer term lease with us, but their membership will be shorter term. And then within the other suites within the building, you could have 3 years, you could have 5 years, you could have 10 years. It won't all be the same thing. It has to do with the size and stage and type of use that the company is envisioning that we have to evaluate as we think about curating the experience within the building.
And what's the capacity for human bodies in this building?
So
Population.
that's a little bit hard to answer in that you know, we are leasing the companies. We don't have any leases executed, and what the specific use each company decides to place within the building could be different, right? So if you have if you were to have a venture capital firm who wants to be able to have a presence, and that type of company may look for a different amount of space per person versus a different type of company who might look for something different. I guess as we think about if part of the question also relates to transportation and how people are coming to the island, I will say that while there is parking in the building, one thing that as we talk to this community, there has been, the focus has always been on the public transportation, also biking, what are those options too. So every now and again you get questions associated with parking, and there's opportunities there for companies who need a presence, who need, in terms of being able to bring that company on campus, we can offer parking when we think that's appropriate. But there's also, it's been, every company that we've spoken to date has been very much focused on the public transportation and really feeling like that's the ease of access on the island.
I guess I was just thinking of capacity. You know, 10,000 people fit in this building, and it's not just about transportation, but just about, you know, we're really trying hard on the island to manage the waste, and I know you guys are too. And we're starting composting in a pilot program with Department of Sanitation that's doing really well, and gonna roll out bigger, and working with REOC to expand that. And of course, as our new neighbor, we want everyone to be like-minded in these kind of environmentally.
Yeah.
I know a lot of your mission is like this,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, so I'll also say that, for City as an organization, we manage about 5 million square feet of office space in New York and or 5 million square feet of space that we're very much accustomed to trying to be sensitive to the surrounding neighborhoods and how that is managed. As Andrew spoke to earlier today, as we move forward in that process of getting ready to ramp up on the opening of the building, we will be coordinating with Cornell to talk about, are there ways that we should be bidding out services together and thinking about how do we make that as efficient as possible, which should also hopefully create cost savings for both parties, but also really from operational point of view, make it as streamlined and efficient as possible.
Yeah, it's just great to partner together as an entire island rather than kind of a town and gown or divided campus and a main street that's struggling a little bit with their shops and things.
Yeah.
And other initiatives. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, Ellen.
So, there's just kind of two related questions. One is again, when a company signs a lease with you, do you then create the space for them? So you then tailor the space to their needs? Is that what happens?
So there's many different ways it can happen, and it depends essentially on how the company itself wants to proceed. So we can, a typical way is what's referred to as delivering a core and shell delivery, which is kind of raw space. So one option is we can deliver core and shell space, and they can hire an architect, and they can fit out the construction of their space and coordinate the on-site fit out of their space. We also talk to companies about, depending upon the size and the type of fit out they like, about to deliver a white box or some partially fit out space to allow them speedier access. And there's different price points for different things, obviously, but there's different ways that space can be delivered. And if someone wants to hire us to help them build out the space, that's something that, from a business point of view, can be done too. But it's all independent based on the type of company and what the company. Some earlier stage startups don't want to spend the time and energy on designing their space. They just want to, this is what we need. Can you get it set up and we're ready to go, so we can just move it and go. And other companies are very particular about wanting to have a space set up in a particular way, and they want to have control of that. So it's a mixture of that space that we turned over.
I realize that this is your building is a private building that is on the Cornell campus. We have been, as a community, we've been pushing for universal design, handicapped accessibility, disabled accessibility, hearing impaired accessibility, and different designs create more bright spaces or more little spaces that are easier to hear in. Is there
So
a
it's
way?
a public space.
Well, I don't mean
Within
public
the-
space. I mean, is there a way that you could deliver raw space in a way that it is insulated in such a way that the sound, I'm not exactly sure how it would work, but the sound doesn't, if somebody's in a large space, the sound doesn't clatter. It's more, more absorbed. I'm not sure how. All I know is that there are some spaces that are a lot easier to hear in, and there are other spaces that if you put people that have some hearing disabilities into that space, they'll be lost.
Yeah.
And in this day and age, there should be ways of creating that kind of space, that kind of raw space for companies that enable people into that space to have, you know, to have ability to perform in that space as best as they can.
So, acoustic issues tend to be addressed in when spaces fit out. So that is raw space by nature. When you turn over raw space, if that's the way a company wants to receive it, is by definition not by definition is not fit out. So, but each company, as they lease space, has full control over designing spaces to meet their acoustic objectives. So, and we can assist them with introduction to different architects, with, you know, there's the way that we engage with different companies, but each company who has office space there is, they make their own decisions about what they want their space to look and feel like, and how they want it, what they want to use it for, right? So depending upon how different people use a space, the appropriate way to fit it out is very different. So that's why each company has to make their own decisions.
I understand that. So can Forest City Ratner put in their agreement with the companies that it is the community's objective that they consider acoustic, the acoustics of the space in their design as one part of their fitting out. I mean,
I understand that.
We urged Cornell to do that, okay? And we've been pushing Cornell to do that, and they have done it. I hope.
We did.
Right.
We are.
So,
But also, let me also say that you know,
For hearing impaired.
for hearing impaired people, so we would like that to also be in all the buildings, not just in the education building, but in the co-location building as well.
So let me say also that the diagram that Cam showed shows you that there are Cornell spaces on the ground levels, and you know, part of the mission for us and Forest City working together is that those spaces, while they do serve Cornell's educational purposes, they also serve a kind of a public face as well, not only for the community, but for companies that are in the building, for events, for technology, for outreach type industry events. Those spaces, consistent with with what these guys want and with our purposes, any space that is a public facing space would have the same sort of technology for hearing impaired people that we would be putting into our other classroom spaces. But I think, I don't want to speak for you, but I think that the assembly type spaces in the building are really those kind of spaces on the ground floor and the second floor, and not within the corporate spaces that these guys are leasing.
Within the corporate space that you're leasing, could you also emphasize that that's important to the school? That's
I
important
think that the challenge though is the challenge would be to try to push something when the intended use of a given space is not known, right? And so given that how any given company may be endeavoring to use that space, what their objective is, why they want to be part of this campus, to dictate something without knowing that answer is we've got to figure out that the second piece first, right? What is it? What are people trying to achieve? Now again, as it relates to the ground floor, we've been very thoughtful, even in our ground floor lobby, which is in public, about acoustic plaster on the ceiling and trying to make sure that the spaces as people do come in, because there are landings there, or people can sit, you can grab something, a cup of coffee, whether it's a cafe across the way or whatever it is, and they can have an impromptu meeting on one of those landings on the stairs, right? And we wanted to make sure that that space was a space that was treated in a manner that allowed conversations to happen in a effective manner. And so we did make the investment in doing acoustic ceilings and space, and thinking about even the materiality within there to try to make that environment conducive for that.
So in a lease that somebody signs, it's not binding. It doesn't have to be binding, but there could be one provision in the lease that the leaseor will make every attempt to make to build it and acoustically to build out the space in an acoustically
have the companies selected and understand why they have chosen and want to be part of this campus and what functions they want to have located there, we need to have that conversation first.
And I'm gonna have to
Some
cut us
question.
off. We have another presentation here, so I hate to cut it off, but I think we're gonna have to at this point and move on